My name is Stacy Wittick, and I am the Executive Director of Conserve Southwest Utah.
Great. And so first, can you just tell me a bit about what was your reaction when you heard that it was approved yesterday?
What do they say, the stages of grief? Disappointment, sadness, for sure, a certain lack of surprise. We anticipated, this has been 20 years in the making and 7 rejections, and for a myriad of reasons that we could wax a whole interview on. This is something that the county just will not give up on. They're a dog with a bone, but unfortunately, what that has meant is we've left all kinds of other considerations that could be made aside.
For people who are unfamiliar with the history of this topic, what is it about this corridor that you believe may harm the area?
There's so many reasons too. I mean, after you've been involved or engaged in this issue for a long time, you find that it's the issue that keeps on giving. There's so many reasons. Probably paramount, as a conservation group, we remain increasingly concerned about habitat degradation and segmentation, which is what, when you build highways and roads within national conservation areas or public lands, that is exactly what it does. Makes it very, very hard for endangered and threatened species to survive and thrive. That's primary. I wouldn't even say primary. That's just one of many. For us as well as a conservation group, just to concentrate on the conservation issues, that a national conservation area is sacrosanct. If you start sacrificing those areas, if you go against what its original founding documents for the conservation of it, we don't know where that will stop, and it has ramifications and impacts for public lands everywhere, and not just lands, most specifically here in southern Utah, but throughout the nation.
What would you say to the argument of, oh, it's going to help traffic? What would you say to that?
Well, the county's own traffic studies show that it will have a minor impact, a favorable impact, but that will quickly be overrun with a kind of induced demand that building roads does. So it will be only a matter of short time before we have more car dependency that's created for moving sprawl outward, in which there are less and less mass transit and less opportunities for people to travel outside of that road. So it will induce demand. It will increase that use, and it doesn't really address the transit problems that we have here. All of us know that a lot of the problems is just getting from one place to the other, right? And these kinds of internal choke points that happen within St. George and within our counties have better chances of being solved through good transportation design, like, let's see, better traffic signals and timing, and understanding speed and speed restrictions, and building better intersections and mitigating for choke points.
In the past, it had been denied 7 times, I believe, and then it was approved once but overturned. So do you believe that kind of thing could happen again?
To believe that it could...
The decision could be overturned.
The decision could be overturned. Well, yes. Yes, we do, because it violates, here's the truth, it violates bedrock environmental laws. It violates the Endangered Species Act. It is illegal in terms of the National Environmental Protection Act, Land and Water Act. So, in essence, the legal fight still is the same. The legal conditions that we sought after and were successful with remain in place. And if there is hope in this long, enduring battle, there's a lot to hope for, actually. But one of them is that our lower courts have consistently been able to turn back bad public lands policy decisions.
So what happens next then?
Well, we, as a 20-year old nonprofit with lots of work to do, not just with the national or the Northern Corridor Highway, but with issues of desert livability and diminishing water. We have a lot of stuff that we do consistently. This is part of our larger theme, and we would love it if the county was able to work with us to see some of how we can problem solve amidst all these pillars, this work that needs to be done. But we're exploring in all options and continuing the fight. And most of the things that ever have worked and continue to work is really engaging an active population who cares deeply about these issues.
Are there other areas of land that are threatened right now, like other projects going on for a potential road or other big fights, I guess, for your organization?
Well, we are unsatisfied with the protections that the Northern Corridor Highway decision seems to offer Zone 6. So I would say that is our primary right now, is uncoupling those two and fighting our hardest to protect Mose Valley through many different things. We're looking at a number of different things.
Do you believe that there could be then more development rather than just this highway going in on the Red Cliffs area?
I would say that all of our gut instincts would say that once you put in a highway, even though some of these pockets that we've heard are not easy to develop, we have a feeling that they will be developed, and that it goes back to the idea of induced demand for cars, but the induced demand for growth too. So we're pushing growth further and further out, and that creates sprawl, and that generates more and more development.
Is there anything I haven't asked you want to touch on still?
Yeah, let's see. I want to tell everyone out there that even though that this issue has come up again and we have to sort of gird our loins and get ready again, that it's not a done deal. We will continue to fight this because I think the will of the people is on our side. We want to preserve our public lands. These are the reasons that we live here. But we also want to make sure that we practice good growth and that and smart growth. In fact, Salt Lake City Tribune just had a beautiful community gathering in which that was the focal point of over 80 people are in the room. What does smart growth look like, and how do we achieve it together? So if there is a will, there is a way.